Hi there, my name is Vuvu and this is Vuvu Vena Reads. Welcome back to my channel. If you're an OG, a returnee, a lover of this channel, a member of the fam, welcome back fam, and thank you once again for spending time with me. And if you are a newbie, somebody who hasn't been on this platform long enough and somebody who has not yet decided to subscribe to the channel, please do press the red subscribe button down below and join the family. Would love to have you. Otherwise, without any further ado, as the title suggests, today I'm bringing you another double wrap up for the months of May, June, so that I'm caught up with my wrap ups and I can start doing wrap ups at the end of every month. So here we go.
So Vuvu Vena _ reads is an amazing book reviewer, also YouTuber. She reviews books on YouTube, and if I'm not mistaken, she also has a blog as well. So please, if for your connection with literature, get in touch with or follow at VUVUVENA _ reads. She is based in South Africa, and I think it is also extremely important to follow literary content creators who are based outside of the West and in continental Africa, because they do a really good job of bridging the gap.
We appreciate you, Vuvu, for bringing us Turning Pages and for bringing us your BookTube channel.
You know, this is a chance for people to actually see some people that I really enjoy.
Please consider pressing the red subscribe button down below. And if you're a returnee, welcome back, fam.
Vuvu, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, May was a very bad month. Not very bad, let me not lie. But it was not an easy month in terms of reading. I only managed to finish 3 books in May, and I won't share any of these books in any particular order. I'm just sharing the books that I read and what I thought about them. So I'm saying I read 3 books in May. 3, yes, 3. And these are the 3 books that I finished in the month of May. So let's start with Chintu. Chintu by Jennifer and Subuga Makumbi. I was reading this one for the Vuvu Vena Reads book club. It dribbled me to no end. I could not seem to find the mental capacity to keep up with the story. It is a brilliant story, worth telling. What Jennifer does in this story is that she traces the genealogy of the first man as per Bugandan folklore, or I don't even want to say it's folklore, belief, let's say. And then he traces this man's genealogy and their inherent generational blessings and generational curses. And in so doing, he shows us how they meet their end. Basically, she shows us how they meet their end and how that is traced back to time immemorial to the present day. Okay, this one was a great one by Jennifer. Like I'm saying, she's a Ugandan author. I think this is her debut. I understand she's got 2 other books, right? The other book, the South African title is called The First Woman. In America, I think it's called A Woman is a Body of Water. I think that is her sophomore, but I know that she's also got a collection of short stories titled Manchester Happened, and I have the ebook for The First Woman, but I don't have Manchester Happened at all. This one was my first Ugandan yeah, I think it was my first time reading a book by a Ugandan author. Absolutely loved it. It was a 4.5 stars out of 5 for me. So then I picked up this short story collection by Fred Khumalo. Fred Khumalo needs no introduction to the South African space. Most of us know him from his days on the Sunday Times as a columnist, and he wrote brilliant pieces on that specific weekly newspaper. And this one is a short story collection published by Kwela Books. It was sent to me by Kwela or NB Publishers. Kwela is an imprint of NB Publishers for review purposes. It's called A Coat of Many Colors. I did buddy read this one with Fence over on Bookstagram, as well as Bookish Nonkli. She's also here on what's this, YouTube. Here on YouTube, as well as Bokamuso on Pila, who's Bokamuso on Instagram, and here on BookTube. So we read this together. This, for me, I feel like I wasn't the target market for it, and something about the stories just didn't gel with me. The main theme that is being explored here is the theme of greed or gluttony. Most of the stories center around this theme, and the stories were not hard to get into, and maybe the main complaint is that they were very simplistic and most of the time very bizarre. I don't know if that is a certain genre that people enjoy. Like, there are some kind of, even when you watch movies, right, there are some kind of comedies that I can't get into because they're very extreme. A lot of what I was reading in here seemed too extreme for it to resonate with me. If we're talking about suspending disbelief, it did not happen for me because I was just not gelling with the stories. I don't know how else to say this. Okay, so this one I rated 2.5 out of 5, and I don't have much else to say about it. I will try and review it over on my blog. I'll link my address down here somewhere, but that's all I've got to say about it. I really didn't feel like it was designed for me, and 2.5. And then the last book that I read in May was Ghanaian author what's going on? Just give me 2 seconds, guys. So the last book I read in May was Ghanaian author Ya Jassie's Transcendent Kingdom. Transcendent Kingdom is her second book, and I would have loved to read her debut first, but this I was reading for the Azania book club and I couldn't read the first book first, but I had bought both of those books last year, and I absolutely loved what she did with this. She explores very real, very contemporary issues. They might not even be contemporary because issues of mental health, depression, and gratification are issues that have been universal for time immemorial, but she has a very modern day spin on the subject, and she focuses solely on one specific family to navigate how they grapple with these kind of issues and what it means when these mental illness traits play out in a very traditional family that is operating in a very first world country. So she follows one family, one Ghanaian, why am I saying Uganda? One Ghanaian family who migrates to the USA and finds themselves grappling with economic issues, societal issues, religious issues, and very internal issues that they struggle to articulate until it basically chows them from the inside out, and how this one person who is Gifty, who is the main character's point of view that we are being told the story from, tries to navigate and almost steals herself away from living her life, trying to understand what it is that can cause human beings to become a certain way. So there's a bit of neuroscience in here, but it's done so tactfully well that you won't feel like it's jarring at all. It was a divine experience reading this book. This one was a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Absolutely loved it. So May was not necessarily a horrible reading month. It's just that I wish I could have read more books. I don't know how many times I've said this, but I'm low-key trying to beat my own goal for the year, my own reading goal for the year. But child, the way July is going, okay, go bad, but it's still the beginning, né? It's still early days, so hopefully I will not succumb to the lies of the anti-book gods, whatever you want to call them. I feel like I can hear my daughter, so I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, once again, in no particular order, I'm going to share with you the books that I read in June. I want to see if I can actually make them into an order, but it's not necessary. I'll just start with the book that I liked the very least. I've had this book by Robin Sharma, The 5 AM Club, on my shelf for a while. I bought it, I want to say, at the beginning of 2020, if not end of 2019. I tried to read it, like the physical copy, and I struggled to get into it. I've read one of his other books, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. I read that once before, and I kind of was attuned to the way that he tells his stories, and there was a period in my life when I was hooked on his podcast. Absolutely loved how he taught in the podcast, and most of the concepts of this book were already shared on that podcast, so I was really picking this up to just have something close to me that was speaking to what I had already learned via Traffic University, as he calls it. And well, I picked it up, tried to read it, it just was not happening, right? And then later, so when I picked this up, the second time around, I decided, okay, let me listen to it through Audible as well. So I only saw one narrator there. I tried to listen to it, and then I was like, okay, it's probably not the right time. And then eventually I force-fed myself the book because I was like, I don't want this book on my pile anymore. I'm sick and tired of this. If I can't read the physical and I can't listen to the audio and I can't read along, then something must be wrong. So I finally finished the audio. I did not like the narrator. I did not like how they narrated the story. However, I do not entirely blame them, so I can't say they're a bad narrator, because this story is a mix between, it's a hybrid between fiction and non-fiction, and I don't understand why Robin Sharma had to go that way, right? I feel like he should have chosen to do fiction or to do non-fiction, because in the manner in which he put the story together for me was very jarring and very alienating, and I felt like what he was trying to do with the narrative of the characters that he formed in the story really did not gel. It did not work out the way that I think he envisioned it, and it made this process of consuming this piece of work very, very tedious for me. I did not enjoy it one bit. Now, with that said, are there principles on here that you guys can use and apply to your lives to grow yourselves, to develop yourselves? Absolutely, there's a lot of gems in here. It's just that I think a lot of people will miss it because they will struggle to read this book, and it's quite unfair when you consider what is packed in here. And if you can access his podcasts, I was listening through them. I was listening to them on Apple Podcasts. So if you can access his podcast, I'd advise you rather do that. And then you look up the rest of the stuff if it is available online. I don't think it's worth you investing in the whole book, because if you are like me, you're really going to struggle. Without saying any more than that, I rated this one a 2 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up debut novel by Naledi Mashishi called Invisible Strings. This one was sent to me by Blackbird Books for review purposes, and it's called Invisible Strings, and I was buddy reading this with a few other ladies over on Bookstagram. It was an absolute pleasure reading Naledi. The themes that she explores in this specific book have to do with how modern day Christianity has morphed into this dangerous space in which children and families and vulnerable people cannot entirely be safe. And obviously she's not labeling the whole of the Christian world. This book specifically does look into charismatic Christianity as it has played out in the past. I do feel like some of the themes that she has explored are real life stuff. I've seen some of the stuff that she quoted here were things that were happening elsewhere in the country at a certain time within the Christian world, and they are factual is what I'm trying to say. She draws on facts, as well as obviously this is mainly fiction, and it also explores, we won't call them superpowers, but like spiritual giftings and how those can be exploited, and how people can just be manipulated in a church environment. And this is not the core of her story. In the story she also explores calls on the reader to question a lot about religion, as well as it talks to like broken families, dysfunctional families, and just the desperation of existence as well, and how far you would go in order for you to feel like you have made it in life, and how hurt can play out and become something that can damage relationships for years, right? And there's a little bit of a sprinkle of queer representation here, though I do feel like that story could have been explored a little bit further within this book, not necessarily to make it the primary thing in the story, but I feel like it was left a little bit hanging, that specific character and his story. But all in all, I absolutely loved this one. But all in all, I absolutely loved this one, and I did rate it a 4 out of 5 stars. I will do a proper review either on here or on my blog. Loved it. Then the Bridgerton bug bit me, but before I tell you what I thought of the books, I picked this one up. This is Bridgerton, the Duke and I by Julia Quinn it's obviously modeled, well, not modeled, the Netflix series is modeled after this. And this is book 1 of, I want to say 10 or 9, right? So before I get into any other details, I want to tell you guys. So I picked this up one, I want to say Saturday evening while I was making dinner. I was like, I feel like reading something light. I just feel like I'm in a rut. Let me just pick up. And I've been wanting to get into romance. So I won these books from exclusive books. They were holding a competition on Instagram, and they were giving away the first 4 books in the series, and I won them, and I was ever so grateful, but they were collecting dust on my shelf, so I was like, let me pick them up. That very first day, do I not squirt my meat across the pages, guys? And I'm not this person. I don't eat like messy food when I'm reading, but if you guys can see it all, I messed that up, right? And then my sister had also wanted to read them so that we could chat. So when I went to visit her to drop this off, we were having coffee, and look what we did, guys. She spilled some of her coffee, and that's what that looks like. It's literally the only book that I own that looks a mess. I am hurt for myself. But anyway, so I picked up Bridget and the Duke and I, and it was like, it could have been just a one sitting type of a face, just that I read it in the evening, so I only finished it. No, that day I didn't sleep. I finished it well into the night, early mornings, finish clar. Yes, that's what happened with this one. So I enjoyed this. I like how I could compare it to the Shonda Rhimes series, and I absolutely love what Shonda did, because I do feel like we have opportunities when it comes to interpreting literature to infuse ourselves in spaces where we might have been neglected or forgotten in whatever way. I understand it when people say she did not need to make a political thing out of the series, because the series, the historical series, is what it is, and if it's historical, it's probably true to the times. But at the same time, I do give her the poetic license or artistic license to do as she wishes, and for whatever reason she thought that she would infuse the story with a little bit of color, and I can't personally hate on that. But as the book itself, I absolutely loved Bridgerton, the Duke and I loved how it was easy to follow. I loved how there were serious issues but explored in such a palatable way. I loved the author's note at the end, because when I was watching the actual series, I thought, if you haven't watched this, then I hope I don't spoil it, but I thought that the main issue that the Duke had was, no, so I'm talking about the other, okay, fine, I did judge the Duke for his issues as well, and I like how they overcame those issues. Anyway, I did enjoy this. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. So then I did pick up Bridgerton, the second book. Anthony's story is The Viscount Who Loved Me. And so I was talking about the issue that Anthony has. I did find it quite ridiculous as I was reading the book, but I loved the ending where the author actually gives context as to why she explored the specific issue and how common it might be within men generally. And after she said that, everything just had its own context for me, and I absolutely love this. And if Shonda is following the series in this manner, then season 2 is set to be quite enjoyable. I love this one a lot as well. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. So I want to tell you how many books are actually in the series. I want to say it is 9 or 10. Okay, so let us see. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I see 9, but somewhere I want to say I saw 10, because I want to get the remaining books. So I did look for them on Takealot, and I want to say I saw book number 10 of 10, but I could be wrong. Okay, I could be wrong, or you might find that since the series started she had an extra book out. I don't know. The last book that I want to talk to you guys about is Yard Jassie's debut, which is Homegoing, which I read for the Vuvu Vena Reads book club for the month of May, June, and the hangover that I got is inexplicable, guys. I do think that part of whatever I'm going through at the moment is only aggravated by the fact that I am struggling to pick anything up after reading this book. For me, I saw a lot of similarities between this book and Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi's Chintu. Similarities in that it is also a genealogical tracing of a specific family from, this one is from Ghana, and how they then migrated to different parts of the world and what led them there, and how two branches of the same tree could go different ways but still find each other one, but also still have these different things that find them, whether you want to call them generational blessings or generational curses. What am I talking about? Curses. And I feel like she explored the story so impeccably well. You know, when you read something and you're like, there is absolutely nothing that you can fault, that as you are reading it, you're like, I need to read this again and again and again and again for it to actually take its rootings within you. This was an absolute pleasure to read, and it is my second best book of the year, if I'm telling you the truth. My first one is At Night All Blood is Black, but this one is second runner-up. It is, first runner-up, is that not what I was meant to say? But it is absolutely divine. I want to do a separate review on this one on the channel, so do look out for that. But if you have it on your shelves, I would suggest that you pick it up at your soonest convenience, because it is something that will not disappoint you, and like I'm saying, you will want to return to it as many times as you possibly can. And you can look out for the review. I don't know what's going on with my throat, honestly. You can look out for the review coming soon on the channel. And those are all the books that I read in, I don't even know, guys, anymore, in May, June. And that one, if in case you didn't realize, was a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Absolutely loved it. If you have read any of these books, and if you have any other thoughts about them that I haven't covered or that are contrary to mine, please do share in the comment section down below. And do be mindful that I'm one person who believes, firstly, I don't even know if my rating system is anything to go by, but if I really loved a book, it will be a 5. If I didn't like it, it's always around a 2, okay? But I want to say that people have different tastes, people have different preferences, people find different things in books, which is why it's such a pleasure to read books with other people. So if it's something that you loved that I didn't hate, don't get me wrong, I mean, what? If it's something that you loved that I hated, don't assume that I'm saying that the book is bad for you. I'm saying the book is not something I enjoyed. And I think when we go through reviewers or whatever of anything, books, music, anything, we need to keep in mind that reviews are very subjective, and people are allowed to like and dislike what they like and what they don't like. So that being said, I hope you guys have a great week ahead, whatever's left of the week, and I can't wait to chat to you guys again on Friday during our Friday reads and sprints. And hopefully you guys have put aside a book that you want to bash into this coming weekend, and I'm gonna try and see if I can post one of my older videos sometime this week as well, so make that tomorrow then, because it can't be Friday. And until next time, I really do love you guys for taking the time out and spending it with me and spending your data on me as well. It's truly appreciated. And until next time, guys, you know, I've forgotten my sign out. Okay, I feel like it's until next time. I love you very much, guys, for choosing me. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.